Bordeaux and Bordeaux Superieur. There's quite an obvious quality distinction there. Vin de Bordeaux and Grand Vin de Bordeaux and Grand Cru are another three fairly obvious distinctions of quality. If you see just Produits de France, that's perhaps for cooking with. It'll probably be quite weak, but on a major supermarket chain, Bordeaux Superieur Grand Vin de Bordeaux, there's also in suspiciously big writing Produits de France. But it says Bordeaux, so it must be that appellation. I've had a few of these and I am recommending them to you, definitely. Wines do vary from year to year, vintage to vintage they call it. But even in one year, 2021 this one, there are quite a few bottles. Same label, same place, same vintage. Very considerably, some quite thin, some are very full. Some of them you wonder if they are the 13% alcohol by volume that they say they are. I've been on a spate of under €5 and over 13% or over, and it's been a fruitful search. But this has to be the top. €2.09 I worked out per bottle, which is about, I don't know, even at the most conservative exchange rates of 1 to 1.1, it's about £1.90 per bottle, £6 in the supermarket chain in Britain. Somewhat secondary to my criteria in the supermarkets, but also sampling a few in a few bars. Mulled wine, I think it tends to be called, can tend to be on the less alcoholic side because it's got so many more flavours thrown into it. They quite often use like really quite cheap, low alcohol red wines. Yes, some recipes recommend a glug of port or two, but if it's a commercial fairground type stall, then they're not really going to do that, are they? The Gluhwein in your local Christmas German market won't be as good as what we're going to make with our Bordeaux Superieur. In French, rather clunky, vin chaud, warmed wine, hot wine. Really wets the taste buds, that one, Monsieur Français. We've mulled over a few recipes. Mulled, sort of thought on, spent some time ruminating, that's not quite so good, but marinade, that's the word I'm looking for. Simmer, how the herbs and spices in your food recipe taste better the next day. It's very much the same with wine, but you do want to speed it up a little bit. It's lovely to think that you'll want mulled wine the day after, but you'll want it pretty soon. Let's have some mulled wine, you'll think, and then immediately, of course, and then a few days later, like mince pies, you'll be a bit fed up of the Christmassy taste of it all. If you've prepared too much of the stuff, yes, you get the sachets. You do get some good sachets, actually. Schwartz do a particularly good one, but they would do, wouldn't they? The blurb on the back of these Bordeaux Superieur says Cabernet Franc, my favourite grape, Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot. The combinations of these obviously account for the variations, but the Merlot Grenache content is what is generally recommended for the mulled wine. That's the simple ingredient dealt with. Allspice. What do we think that allspice is? Don't confuse it, as I might have done, with allspice. Oh, what am I talking about? Five spice, Asian five spice. What you put in anything that you want to make Chinesey tasting. Allspice is from its bean pods, boil them up, and carob syrup molasses can be made. It's just one Caribbean Jamaican fruit. The main important ingredient, pertinent, dried berry that resembles cloves, cinnamon and nutmeg. So all your sachets will have cloves, cinnamon and nutmeg in them, recreating its more elusive myrtle pepper from the Caribbean, Jamaica. They're an unripe berry that's been dried and often ground up. Pertinent ingredient number 2, cassia bark. Cassia is an evergreen, Senna obtuscifolia, if you're a gardener. While it can look similar to cinnamon quills, it's a different species, different family. Cinnamon having a much stronger flavour. You might be adding caster sugar or honey to your mulled wine mix, but experiment. Cassia is a stimulant, a tonic, a carminative. Don't know what that is. It stops flatulence. Don't know what that is. Stops farting. Especially as an essential oil, too much of it is bad for you. You might want to munch on the clove-encrusted orange that floats in your punch bowl, but not the allspice. Now, I am being a bit of a purist here. I've had fairly good effects from a bit of mince pie, grinding up a bit of mince pie in the bottom of your red wine glass, or Earl Grey tea. Tea bag in your wine glass in the microwave. But if you fancy some mulled wine over the winter, you may well go out and buy a few sachets to add to your favoured raw material, of which I'm recommending the Bordeaux Superieur because it's got a higher alcohol content than many. But undoubtedly you will have most of the ingredients somewhere in the back of your herb pots. Cloves, mace, nutmeg, cinnamon, a bit of zest from an orange or a lemon, star anise, vanilla, ginger, port. Nothing says Christmas and New Year like mace. Caster sugar or honey. Any combination of these, what you've got there. Use it up, stew it in the microwave for a little bit, and it's your recipe. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.